LGT on the track. Back at it. Cause when that spirit moves, gotta react.
Yo. Hey, to my people, I address thee under the unction of the Holy One, the Elohim of all that is, who goes by Elion. Yahuwah surveyeth, under he do I prayeth, to do as he saith. I'll be about that word, you feel me? All praises. I continue to exhort my brethren, that they receiving blessings, from learning plenty lessons. Be off the herbal essence, from all of life's oppression, battling thoughts of dark depression, false confessions, feeling suppression, courts in session. Ask the question, how long will my life continue to be this way? I cried real tears when my mama sang a better day. Just hold on is what my pastor used to say. But if that's all that it takes, then why my people continue to go astray? The church is barely breathing, like when we see policing. Violence on blacks increasing, seems like we all deceasing. Perversity is pleasing, greediness got us all obese. And the LGBTQRSTXY, man, you see what I'm saying? When you've done all you can, but your faith is low. When you tried everything, but got nowhere to go. Just hold your head up, cause we in the final hour. Like Elijah on the mount, call down the power. When you fed up with the demons and your games they play. When you're losing your cool and need to make a way. Look at the devil in the face and make him cower. Like Moses at the sea, call down the power.
You see, power is a dangerous thing unless it is handled carefully. It would be foolish on God's part to give just anybody power. You've got to qualify for it. And the worse life you've lived in the past, the more dramatic the demonstration. But when God changes a real bad one, that one becomes the greatest witness of all.
Yo. I'm pot committed like Vegas. You know your pastor can't say this. True man and y'all ain't no faking. This spew you out like you bacon. My people dropping like flies cause of that lack of true knowledge. Y'all wisdom open my eyes, clear my ears of the block. My mustard seed like a mountain. He got my praise like a fountain. When that Ruach get to moving, like DC Go-Go I'm grooving. To get where I'm at took years, through all the pain and the tears. But they got lost in my beard, just like I got lost in my fears. I don't be rocking with pride, try to stay off the humble. But sometimes I don't listen, like when these new rappers mumble. I get sparked and the demons get to shaking, like the earth when it's quaking. Cause I be praying, fasting, meditating. Y'all got you open, so listen. We breaking you out the prison of the lies that were disguised as religious proposition. My mind is sharp like a sword, the strongest pawn on the board. The name of Yah, not the Lord. Now do we have an accord? And when you're feeling stressed, feel the weight of the pressure. When the enemy floods you with BS you can't measure. Raise your standard up, stand tall just like a tower. Just like Daniel in the den, call down the power. When you look at the world and all you see is the trouble, and this illusion of peace about to bust like a bubble. Just remember that the devil gon' be sour. Look in the mirror and repeat, we got the power.
The power of God attends the truth. The power of God does not attend error.
Welcome. This is Real Talk 101, The Devil Exposed, here on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. and You Broadcast Media. Welcome to our show, man. It's been a minute. We was out last weekend, but as you can see, the hosts are back in the building. My name is Mr. Bradley Trammell, and this is Mr. Orlando Boyd. And we're going to keep it 100, man. On a week-to-week basis, we talk about the past week's revelations, Bible readings, prayers, any correspondence that we've had with the Most High, we break it down here. And also, we make sure to expose that punk behind devil who run around like to be in secrecy, likes the world to think that he doesn't exist, and likes to deceive. The word calls him the arch deceiver, which means he is the master deceiver. So whatever you think you know about him, you probably don't know nothing. But the Most High exposes him, because he is a creation for the Most High, and all things are made for him and by him, so the words say. But as you hear us speak, you're probably going to hear some things you may have never heard before. Some books referenced in your word that you may have never even read or seen before. So I ask that you say a prayer for the indwelling of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, which will give you discernment and lead you into all truth to fact check anything that we talk about, man. But we usually start off the show, a couple prayer requests, say a word of prayer, and then we get right into it, man. Today's gonna be no different. How's it going today, bro?
I'm here. I was just thinking as you was reading. I got a funny feeling. I know what direction it's gonna go in, for real. But I'm blessed. I can't complain. Family going through it. Man, my little nephew turned 13 yesterday. Happy belated birthday, little E. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to reach out to him. They went to Mass and nothing. Hope they had a good time down there. Yeah, man. I mean, I just keep my family in prayer. It's a lot of different situations. Every time I leave here, I think about something I could have said as far as a prayer request. Because everybody going through something. But, just thinking back now, I mean, yeah, as far as prayer requests go, just keep my family in prayer. As far as testimonies, I mean, I'm gonna see what the Ruach do. Yeah, just keep my family in prayer, bro.
That's a bet. For mine is more the same. Continue to keep my family in prayer, specifically my sister-in-law, who is still recovering from child delivery. She's healing along well, and my nephew is live and kicking, man. He's a funny little ball of energy. It's interesting to see how the Most High has us from that form into the size that we are now, like how we grow. And I got a lot of testimonies. I got more than that than prayer requests. So I'm gonna just keep it simple and just say keep my family in prayer, particularly my sister-in-law. Her name is Ushwithy Trammell. We just call her Ush, like Usher. So that's what I call her. That's what she goes by. So let's say a word of prayer, get the Ruach in. Most High Yahuwah, glory to your name, praise to your name, honor to your name forever and ever. You who hung the heavens and the earth and set them upon the waters, who today blessed this earth with, especially in this area, a very beautiful day and yesterday. So we give you thanks and praise. The word says, by your servant, let everything that have breath praise ye Yahuwah. So that's what we are going to do today, give you praise and thanks. Thank you for sustaining us and keeping both of us here at this table, for assembling us yet again. You know that we come here as vessels that your holy Ruach can use. And we pray for the dispensation of that Ruach, even now, to use us as vessels, because we ain't worthy. We ain't got nothing to tell these people. But you do. So let us be your mouthpieces and your ministers this afternoon as you have before. Please be with both of our families and the various struggles and trials that they may be going through, whether it be on their own account or on our account, because we know the devil's a punk behind Bama. He going to continue to hit and to prod and to poke and to kick and to spit and to do everything he can to get us not to believe. Because he knows once we believe, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So I want to thank you also for giving little E another year of life. That's very precious. And every year that we see it live is nothing but grace and mercy by you. But we know that the devil's trying to take us out. Thank you again for my nephew being born and being healthy. Continue to be with him as he grows, and continue to be with us as she heals up from the delivery. Thank you for, again, like I said, just keeping us going. I ask that you be with everybody in regards to the studio, the management, those that come in and out, those who work behind the scenes. Ask that you bless and forgive them of their sins and iniquities, and let us continue marching to the beat of your drum so that your will be done. And hurry up and get this thing on. We know perilous times is coming, but we ready. We know you, and our trust is in you. We're going to be all right. So your word tells us. So I pray this prayer in the name of your sweet son, Yahushua Hamashiach, and for the sacrifice that you allowed him to make on our behalf so that we can speak to you underneath the covering of the blood. In his name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, man. I've been happy this week, man. It's just little moments. The Most High has given me a little bit of discernment here and there. And I'm appreciative because, man, this week I'm out there looking at my container garden on my deck, right? Everything getting done big. To the point where I'm like, didn't I expect this? Like, I need a couple trellises, you know what I'm saying, for my tomatoes. Them joints getting done big, man. My carrots is looking, from what I could see, they looking good. My onions looking good. Corn is coming up. Cucumbers coming up, man. All praise to the Most High. Only thing I did, and I ain't even going to sit here and wail like I did it daily, but I went out there first, and I prayed over everything. Just said a prayer, you know what I'm saying? Let this be the increase that the Most High would have it to be, because he indeed does that. And it got me thinking about two things. First, the fact that when Eden was here, all Adam had to do was tend to the garden. Stuff just popped up for him like in a rapid fashion. He ain't have to work the soil. He ain't have to work underneath the sweat of his brow. He just had to go out and tend. So he could probably prune whatever fruits, berries, and grains, whatever vegetables that he wanted easily. But then after the fall, the Most High said, cursed is the ground for your sake. And in the sweat of your brow shall you eat your bread, etc., etc. And even still, as I go out and daily take care of that garden, I see instances of how the Most High continues to be with us, how we grow. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's a point in time when my plant, the plant that is me, was immature and thought it was right. Thought I was going straight up. But there was a lot of stuff I didn't know. But the Most High continued to shine his light upon me. First thing, can't nothing grow without the sun, the light that the Most High put in the air. And then the watering that came along. And as I started thinking about the journey that I'm on spiritually and so many others, it's like when the word says, you say, man should not eat by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of Yahuwah, it's like I could not have grown to where I am now were it not for this. You know what I'm saying? So I just got to thanking the Most High for how he watered, how he fed, even up into the age that I am. And we done had this discussion before. We ain't even old in this game. No. Not for real. Not considering how old, like we was discussing before the cameras came on, how old men used to get based off of the nutrients and vitamins that came from a fruit that only 2 people ate, how they grew, how the Most High had intended us to be, and how far we've fallen. He still has grace and mercy upon us so that we can come to a better knowledge of him and continue to grow. Because there are a lot of people who are stagnant. We discuss on this show a lot of times how a lot of the truths that we bring to the forefront in people's ears that they turn away from. That's a stagnation of growth. They think they got it sewn up. And I heard an interesting quote yesterday by another brother who is in lockstep is where I am as far as like moving through this truth and constantly growing. He's like, man, it seems like those who don't go to church and those who don't know the Most High have a better reception level for the types of things I'm discussing. Mm-hmm. And will even have a mind to be curious enough to go find out. But those who already have a filled cup can't be filled up no more. You got to empty yourself out of what you thought you knew. And so I was thinking about all that and how that only comes, we were also discussing this in the beginning, is how that only comes from the fact that, you know, once we release everything that, you know what I'm saying, we used to hold on to or accept the fact that maybe we was wrong, then there could be a fear that sets in to where we're like, okay, what we going to do now? You know what I'm saying? Maybe afraid of finding out that I've been doing something wrong for all this time. How do I move right? And what was spoken about was the fact that the Holy Ruach, the Spirit, is the one that continues to lead and guide you. He's the one that does the watering and the planting and gives the increase. And what you see today are 2 vessels that have been given increase and continue to get it, man. And right now, to flat out, we addicted to it. You know what I'm saying? And I know I've been speaking about this for, you know, the past couple of times I've been on the show, is the fact that I've been going through these New Testament letters that Paul wrote to the different churches again. And where I'm going to come from today is 2 sections out of 2 Corinthians. We're going to see how this go. But for the first one is 2 Corinthians 4. And what it does, well, I'm going to just read it in a sec, but the profound message that it has is just, it underlines the mercy of the Most High and how he continues to guide, even though, you know what I'm saying, we are wayward, even though we're sinful, man. And it says in 2 Corinthians 4, verse 1, it says, therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not. I want to pause after that verse just because of the fact, you know, we come in here talking about how many times we was tired. We didn't even feel like coming in here. But because of the burden that the Most High has put in us, this ministry that we have received and the mercy that we have received, we keep pushing and going forward. But then in verse 2 it says, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking craftily, nor handling the word of Elohim deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of Elohim, putting away everything that was dishonest, everything that was in the dark, and seeking or finding the manifestation of the truth. We commend ourselves. It's like, I started thinking about the word commending myself. It's like, that's how I stay firm in this. I'm like, okay, what I'm talking about? Is it too wild to understand? Is it possible that this was not the case? But when my mind settles on the fact that this is the truth, I can commend myself for that. It's like, nah, this is the truth. This is what it's going to be. Whether I like it or not, whether it sounds good or not, the truth is what the truth is going to be. So I can stand on that because the truth is a firm foundation. Then in verse 3 it says, but if our good news be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. And I thought that was a shocking and very, like, you know what I'm saying, like exclamation point type of verse, man. It's like, if you don't have the understanding of the Basora, which is the good news, talking about, you know what I'm saying, the salvation that comes from the blood of the Son of Yah who passed away for us. If you don't accept that, then you are lost. Or if it's hid, the understanding of it, should I say, it's because you are lost. And that's word. But then it says, in whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious truth of Mashiach, who is the image of Elohim, should shine unto them. That also let me know, you know what I'm saying, the fact that there is a portion that are just going to be lost. That the Most High has set aside, that he knows from the beginning that they were going to be lost. Ain't nothing they could do. But he also has his chosen. And right now, the reason why I'm in a testifying type mood is because he's picked and he's chosen. And we ain't do nothing to earn it. And there's surely nothing we could do to take ourselves out except not believe. If we don't believe, then of course, what can the Most High do? But if we do, then that's all that's required. So I was thankful for him making it easy. And I was also thankful to him of his election, you know what I'm saying, regardless of, you know what I'm saying, what I've done in my life, man. And so putting that all into perspective, you know, I came in here today just with the mindset of being thankful and to testify of the multiple good things that the Most High has done, man. Multiple. And what I would encourage people to do is, I've started even doing this myself. At the end of every day, count your blessings. Think back on the day, the times that you even just laughed, whether it had something to do with the Most High or not, whether it was spiritual or not. Times that you smiled, had a good time, seen something maybe on TV, had a conversation with somebody that brought joy to your heart. Thank him for them times. If you went outside, you walked around, you ain't had, or ran around or did something active, and you wasn't tired, or you felt, you know what I'm saying, the fact that you can move all your limbs without problems, that you have all 5 of your senses and they work. Thank him for those types of things. Now, I know this week is probably difficult to do so because, you know what I'm saying, we heard about that massacre that happened down in Texas. You know, I had a couple conversations with people regarding it. And, of course, there was sadness. Of course, there was compassion. Because, I mean, you know, children are defenseless. There's nobody that's going to disagree with that. They're helpless. They need protection. But yet and still, this act happened, and it was allowed. And when I read my word, and I see that things like this are going to be more frequent, more disastrous, and increase in intensity going forward, this is just calling me again, not only to be thankful, but to strap up and get ready for all that is coming. And we can pray and we can sing songs and do everything, but if you are not seeking to make the Most High your number one priority in your life, there's no way that you're going to be able to get through that which is shortly coming. We're already entering into it right now. Everybody can see from what they see on the news, what they hear on the radio, if they listen to the radio, things are getting rough. They're going to continue to get rougher. So again, consistent reminder that we've had on this show is to make sure that your relationship with the Most High is tight, that your trust and belief is in him, that your faith is strong. And ask for the testing of your faith. I know it seems like a dangerous thing to do because you don't know what the Most High is going to do, but it's better that you have strong faith and have it rather than need it. There was one more joint I wanted to read. Oh yeah, these last 4 verses in chapter 4. And it says, chapter 4 of 2 Corinthians, verse 15, for all things are for your sakes, that the abundant grace might through the thanksgiving of many redound to the glory of Elohim. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet inward man is renewed day by day. I like that one because it's like, we getting older. Our body don't work the same way it used to. But inwardly, man, I'm motivated to keep moving day by day because I know every day that I have here on this planet has been ordained by the Most High. And when it's time to go, then it's time to go. This also, in my situation, removes the fear of death. Because I know once that happens for me to go to sleep, it's not complete separation from the Most High. That's something to be feared or scared of. We're just going to take a quick nap. And then I'm going to be standing before the Father. I'm looking forward to that. Verse 17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, works for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. That's a very significant verse. Light affliction. You think about the troubles that you have in this life. If you are with the Most High, if you have a relationship with him, the stuff that you had to deal with, that he may allow the enemy to test you with, because really that's all it is. If the enemy's getting at you, is to test your faith. These light afflictions are producing a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we look not to the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Powerful, man. You got something? You was looking up something?
Well, I'm just, as I'm listening to you talk, some key words you said jumped out at me.
Mm-hmm.
You've been going through them letters that that make up the New Testament. Where is it? Is it Thessalonians somewhere? I think.
What you looking for?
The boy was like, it was like a warning to not be so soon shaken by letters as if from us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess.
As a read, yeah.
I think it's Thessalonians. But I don't remember what Thessalonians is.
My junk is off from yours. I know that.
Either way, it's one of them. But I wonder myself personally, right, how much was able, by way of trickery, sorcery, deceitfulness, under the command of the delusion. I wonder how much what's the word I should use? Because it would have come about before the birth of modern day Christianity, the tampering with of that book,
mm-hmm.
those letters. I wonder how much of that, right? How much of this quote unquote New Testament is really necessary. The church people love asking you, is that salvific? Like you said, he's writing these letters to people that live in certain regions of Asia Minor.
Right.
Does any of that really apply to us as believers? I mean, you get something from it. I'm not questioning what you concluded. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, is any of it, for real, meant for us as Joshua? Because you look back at, it's interesting, he had me open up the Chronicles. And when I looked over there and saw the 2 and the C, I said, man, in Chronicles, it was in Corinthians. You know what I'm saying? 2 Corinthians, he took me to 2 Chronicles. When Josiah discovered the book, chapter 32. And we could read the story. I don't think it's that long. But I looked at verse 22. Matter of fact, if you don't know the story of Josiah, I think, you let it speak for itself. 2 Chronicles chapter 34, not 32. Josiah was 8 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 31 years in Jerusalem. He did what was proper in the eyes of Yahweh, following the ways of his forefather David. He did not veer right or left. In his 8th year, when he began to reign, so he was 8 when he started, when he was 16, that's when,
You found the book?
in his 8th year, when he began to reign, while he was still a youngster, he began to seek out the Elohim of his forefather David. In the 12th year, he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem of the high places and the Asherah trees, the idols and the molten images. And this is the 12th year. So what would that have been? 20?
Roundabout, yeah.
So 16, he started seeking after the Elohim of his forefather David. At 20, he got tired of the BS and started cleaning the house. And this is a king. He had to ask nobody's permission for this.
Nope.
But a young man who, because he began to seek out the Elohim of his forefathers, started seeing the BS that was going on amongst his people in the church around him. The high places where they worshiped at, sacrificed, or whatever. Unbeknownst to them, they may not even have known they was pissing the Most High off, because that's what they were born into. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't being taught as sorcery or witchcraft. It's Judaism. You know what I'm saying? Or Messianic, whatever it was called. Clearly, the people, the wise men, counselors, of course, the enemy had his hand in artfully, usurping whatever was going on that was good and put his little stanking foot in there to throw it off. But youngin, seen the BS, got to clean the house. You know what I'm saying? I think he said they broke down the altars of Baal before him, which could be the same thing as podiums or rostrums, broke down the altars of Baal before him, and he cut down the sun images that were on top of them. He smashed and ground up the Asherah trees, the idols and the molten images, and threw them over the graves of the people who had sacrificed to them. He burned the bones of the priests upon their altars, and he cleansed Judah and Jerusalem and the cities of Manasseh and Ephraim and Simeon up to Naphtali with their hatchets all around. He smashed the altars. He ground up the Asherah trees and the graven images in the dust, and he cut down the sun images in all the land of Israel, and then returned to Jerusalem. In the 18th year of his reign, 26.
Yeah.
In the 18th year of his reign, when he had purified the land and the temple, he sent Shaphan, son of Azaliah, Messiah, the city officer, and Joah, son of Joahaz, the secretary, to reinforce the temple of Yahweh, his Elohim. They went to Hilkiah, the Kohen Gadol, was it high priest?
High priest, yep.
And delivered the money that had been brought for the temple of Elohim, which the Levite gatekeepers had collected from Manasseh and Ephraim and from the rest of the remnant of Israel, and from Judah and Benjamin, and then returned to Jerusalem. They gave it over to the workmen who were in charge in the temple of Yahweh, and they gave it to those who did the work, who acted in the temple of Yahweh to repair and reinforce the temple. They gave it to the carpenters and the builders to buy quarried stone and wood for joints and to lay beams for the buildings and the kings of Judah had destroyed. The men did their work with integrity. The Levites, Jahath and Obadiah of the children of Merari, and Zechariah and Meshullam of the children of the Kohathites were appointed to oversee them. Of the Levites were all those who were experts in musical instruments, those who were in charge of the porters, and the overseers of every kind of work. Some of the Levites were also scribes, officers, gatekeepers. As they were removing the money that had been brought to the temple of Yahweh, Hilkiah the Kohen found the book of the Torah of Yahweh by Moses. I'm assuming the temple was in disarray. They got these people there working on it. You know what I'm saying? But in this place was found the Torah of Yahweh by Moses. Why wasn't that where the king was at? Why wasn't it this important book where the most important person in the kingdom was at?
It's crazy.
What is it doing there? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm asking this question like Joe, but you got these titles, high priests, you got Levites, you got some spiritual stuff going on. They had places where they worshiped at, but what book was they using? What information was they going off
People
of? Was it the
listening.
Talmud? Were they coming from the Babylonian Talmud? You know what I'm saying? Because they come from Babylon already, right?
Right.
I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. You know, but I'm wondering if the Torah was somewhere tucked away, what would they?
Well, I'm thinking because it was so many, diverse deities being worshipped, and then the transgressions of the previous kings who had led people into these bad traditions, that joint just got buried.
Good point.
The priests wasn't popular. Don't bring that book out. We've heard of that book.
Popular.
That book wasn't popular. And so let's put that away and allow us to go worship at our Asherah poles and our high places, because that's fun.
That's what we want to do.
That's what we want to do.
It says, so Hilkiah spoke up and said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found a book of the Torah. I have found a book of the Torah in the temple of Yahweh. Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan. Shaphan the scribe brought the book to the king and also brought back a report to him saying, your servants are fulfilling everything that they have been charged with. They have counted the silver that was found in the temple of Yahweh, and they have given it to those who are in charge and to the workers. Shaphan the scribe then told the king, saying, Hilkiah the Kohen has given me a scroll. Shaphan then read from it before the king. It happened that when the king heard the words of the Torah, he rent his garments. The king commanded Hilkiah, Ahikam, son of Shaphan, Abdon, son of Micah, Shaphan the scribe, and Asaiah, the king's servant, saying, go and inquire, and this is what I open up to, and verse 21, go and inquire of Yahweh on my behalf and on behalf of the remnant of Israel and Judah concerning the words of the scroll that was found. For great is the wrath of Yahweh that is poured out against us because our fathers did not observe the word of Yahweh to fulfill all that was written in this scroll. It goes on. You can read it for yourself, but that's what I open up to. Go and inquire of Yahweh. This is the king asking these young men to go and inquire of Yahweh on his behalf. And what we say, go inquire of Yahweh on my behalf and on behalf of the remnant of Israel and Judah concerning the words of this scroll that was found. For great is the wrath of Yahweh that is poured out against us because our fathers did not observe the word of Yahweh to fulfill all that was written in this scroll. This scroll that Josiah is referring to is not that. It's not this.
No, not the whole thing.
This, not the whole thing.
Right.
There's a lot more here than what he was talking about. But this contains the majority of what Yahweh said.
Right.
They call it the Old Testament. But then you got this New Testament that comes along once the culture shifted and you needed to control a certain type of person. They created this religion, you know what I'm saying, to make you or to make the individual feel bad or feel like they're doing something wrong if they're not doing what their master is telling them to do.
Truth and error.
But the real master is the head of the church. He's the one with the pointy hat and the stick. You know what I'm saying? Is really the one that's pulling the strings, and we know who he really worked for. But they took the one thing that when put in front of our people could get us together, and they laced it. They laced it with what pagans got down with. I mean, you can keep reading the story, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just thinking about now, here and now, you know what I'm saying? And how here we sitting in church, you know what I'm saying? Feeling like something's missing, like a lot of other people our age. It's just like, man, this mess is getting old. Nothing's changing. I thought it was supposed to be something more to this. And that's when Yahweh told us to step away from it. You know what I'm saying? We started seeking him and not what we were being told we should be growing into, and he pulled us out of that. He put us out, and then he showed us, to clean houses, to get rid of stuff. I don't have any of the red books. I don't have the Great Hope. I don't have, but I'm not gonna say, it might be a copy there somewhere.
Right.
Well, I used to look to that.
Not no more.
Completely removed from my process of studying. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't need that. I got the Ruach to guide me into all truth. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's study ain't the same. But this young boy taught the importance. The Most High used this young boy to show the importance of seeking for yourself. He didn't even go looking for it. He just sent the jokers to do their job, and they stumbled across it. He was just being a king. But when it was brought to him, man, he tore his clothes. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, how is it that our forefathers, because of what our forefathers weren't diligent in, we get the short end of the stick. We getting jammed up because of what our forefathers did. And just look back. We've been here. We 40-some years old. You know what I'm saying? Take it back to the 30s, to the 40s or whatever. You know what I'm saying? 60-some, 70-some years ago, whatever. 80-some years ago. And you look at how things have evolved in this country. You know what I'm saying? Even in black churches, black neighborhoods, you know, I don't know the ins and outs of all that, never really cared. I just knew what I was and where I went to church at, or where we bounced around from place to place. But all of it looked the same for the most part, unless it was a white church, a black church. They all did the same thing. There was what they called it. They had 28 fundamental beliefs. If you can adhere to these fundamental beliefs, then we accept you. You get baptized, you become one of us. One of who? One of Yahshua? One of the Most High's chosen? Or a part of this organization? See, people they don't ask those type questions or even concern themselves with it. It ain't got nothing to do with them. You were born into something. When you become a man, if you're gonna put away childish things, you gotta consider everything that you've been dealing with your entire life up to this point. This kid was able to do it. And for them letters, you know, I was looking at this joint on Facebook before I came in here about spelling. I stopped texting people good morning, right? It doesn't make sense because what's good about morning? You know, we had that conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was and it's this white lady and she breaking down these words.
Yeah.
Have you seen that joint?
Yeah, I seen that joint.
We don't know what we saying when we be saying stuff sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all before how the Most High just had me consider what the reverse of a thing is, what a word is in reverse. And I've told C-SPAN. I looked at C-SPAN. What is C-SPAN in reverse? Napsy.
Napsy.
I Googled it. He said Google Napsy. Why would I Google the C-SPAN in reverse?
Right.
A bunch of stuff about fingernails came up. At first, it keeps scrolling. NAPSI stands for the North American Precise Syndicate, Incorporated. They scrutinize and control everything that is considered information that goes out, whether it's bloggers or, you know, they can't control what we're doing.
Right.
They can't censure us. All praise to the Most High. But if it's a book, if it's written, if it's published, mainstream, it goes through the North American Precise Syndicate, Incorporated first. Look it up. But I would have never known that had I not been sitting there after tapping the J, watching C-SPAN. And the Most High was like, look at that. Look at that in reverse.
Right.
Like, Naps, C. He said, Google that. I'm like, okay. Out of nowhere. But words. I'm gonna read the definition of spell. Or spelling, right? Because they teach us to spell in school. They teach us to write in cursive. We don't even question the obvious things that we're subject to. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors didn't spell. When they wrote, they used caricatures. They didn't use letters or words. As things evolved, I mean, spelling, the act or art of forming words by letters. Orthography, or the second one, the way in which a word is spelled, is spelling. A lesson or exercise in spelling, like a spelling bee, a contest in spelling between teams or individuals, spell, blah, blah. Okay, so, but spell, you know, that's spelling to spell. Incantation, a spoken word or words supposed to act as a charm, hence fascination. To form words with letters, especially with the correct letters, either orally or in writing, as he spelled accurately. I'm stuck on the incantation, or spoken word or words supposed to act as a charm, right? When you use this language, that's why the Catholics say they were the most fit to translate the Hebrew scriptures into the vulgar, you know, English. It's considered the vulgar language. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we do every day. We talk about a bunch of stuff. We talk at stuff. We type, write, text, whatever, a bunch of words, you know, that once they go out there, you can't get them back. Once a person's ear receives, and I've said a lot of stuff to people that I would love to be able to take back. You know what I'm saying? I can't do anything about it. I can ask the Most High for forgiveness, ask them to forgive me, but, you know, that stuff does something to people. You say things because you can form the words, because you know how to talk, so you say anything. And it crushes some people. I've heard enough. In my little 42 years, I got some tough skin. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of you can't get too close to me talking like that, but I don't really let what people say affect me. But that's, people are different. You know, you could ruin a person's whole life with the wrong way. Man, you stupid little motherfucker. You ain't never gonna be.
That happens.
And them stupid little would never become ish. You know what I'm saying? Or they become the wrong thing because they was crushed with words young. Pastors just standing from the pulpit spewing all these beautiful sounding, eloquent words that don't mean nothing, that ain't got ish to do with what the Most High said. What's written in the scroll. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a lot of people talking about Old Testament stuff. Everybody, for the most part nowadays, they kicking it in the New Testament.
It makes it feel good.
It's for them. It's for them. You know what I'm saying? That keeps you comfortable at church. You don't want to hear anything that's going to make you uncomfortable.
I think there are a lot of good foundation scriptures that people branch out and go the wrong direction with in the New Testament. They don't rightly divide the word. So they'll say,
that's what I'm saying.
they'll give some, like, Paul will give some good advice to a couple of the churches, and they'll take the overarching verse and take it completely out of context, or completely miss like the point Paul was trying to make, like why he's saying this. They'll just say it, and then they'll build off of that. And then what they will, they'll go completely away from the word and say, "Oh, don't it feel good when God just tell you like this, or when He do it like that?" And then they'll go some way to get people's emotions invested into whatever they talking about, when there's really no spiritual substance, because they took one piece and then ran away with it. And the devil is the king of doing that. He did it in the temptation in the wilderness. When he saw he was being met with the word, he took a piece of the word and threw it back in the face of the Savior, which is very, he had the audacity to do that. Because he knew that the Most High inspired the word. So he knew that the Most High had a complete understanding of every scripture that has been written. And when I always tell people this, it's like, it's good. It feels good when I read through and I see verses that I remember. But when I read entire books or chapters and they lead into that verse, then it has then the full meaning of that verse that I like is fully understood. Like, I don't even want to use that as an example, but the misuse of scripture is more prevalent because of Christianity has gathered this basis where if you just believe in the name of Jesus, then you all good. They built that. That's their cornerstone scripture. You ain't got to worry about nothing else, just as long as you believe. But there are some requirements that they gloss or they skip over, and if you don't know them, it's best that you're kept in the dark. Because you have this feeling that there's supposed to be more, just as I was talking about, but you're not getting it. And in order to get it, with them or with Christianity, there's usually a price that has to be paid. Your guilt is usually going to bring you to the point where it's like, nah, something has to be done. And that's where the strength of that doctrine comes, man. But it's not complete. It's not secure. It's not all truth. It's truth mixed with error. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what you need discernment for. You need it for that. The only other, that don't really tie into it, man. But there's a portion in 2 Corinthians 12 when he's talking about glorying in the infirmities. And this is where I want to go with this. Throughout my entire Christian experience, I could never get to the point where I was comfortable enough with myself to, I guess, feel free in the good news or in the gospel or in Christianity and church. I never felt free because I knew me. You know what I'm saying? And I knew the struggles and the trials that I dealt with personally, even if nobody else did. So I would always think, man, I ain't gonna sing today, I ain't gonna pray. Because I don't feel like I should be able to. And that was perpetual underneath religion. Because I didn't have a full understanding. All the understanding I had was from what church had taught me. And it wasn't enough. It wasn't complete. I got a foundation there, but they did not elaborate on the bigger issues that we as human beings deal with. And so I always felt that guilt. But one essential thing in 2 Corinthians 12 that got me was this portion I'm about to read for you right now. It's one of my favorite parts. It's verse 6 through 10. And I really grafted onto it because of what he was talking about. Paul was like, he's like, man, for though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above which he sees me to be, or that he hears of me. Now, I want to pause right there because of how I grew up in religion, a lot of people knew about me, they knew about my family, and because of the talent that the Most High put in me to be able to communicate and to speak, I had plenty of opportunity to glory. But my mindset with this gift that the Most High gave me wasn't so much to stand up and preach to people and be looked upon with, favor because of that. It was more so to use it to get women. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I know how to communicate, so I'm going to use it for my own end. So I would glory in myself to be able to do that. Like I would be arrogant or extremely confident in that ability. But Paul was like, he's like right here, he's like, man, he's saying the opposite. He was like, I should glory. And it's like, I would. But I'm not going to be a fool. I'm going to just tell you the truth. Because I bear my problems. You know what I'm saying? This is what he's saying in verse 6. He says, lest any man should think of me above which he sees me to be or hears of me. And lest I should be exalted above measure, through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, and a messenger of Satan was sent to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought El Yahuwah 3 times that it might be removed. But he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Mashiach might rest upon me. That joint gave me so much freedom because of the fact when you really consider what he's saying, he's like, man, because this is the mind of Yah. This is his expansive knowledge. He knows so much about the human condition that you can't teach him nothing new. Your situation is not unique unto him. He knows fully and thoroughly the sin infection that all of us have. So he's like, because of the good news of the Besorah, because I paid the price for those that believe, I just want you to glory amidst of your firm. Any problems you got, give me glory anyhow. Don't even think about it. Because if you start getting praise and worship and commendations and accreditations because of what you're capable of doing, you're going to be led away from me by your own pride, your own arrogance, which is the sin problem. It's in all of us. So that's why I love this portion just of the New Testament, because right there, it's like, I'm not just reading what Paul says, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people skip over this because it causes you, or it tells you very specifically, stop worrying about your own stuff. Just give him praise and glory anyhow. And that has been perverted. That message has been perverted. But because you know yourself of who you are and what you are, that keeps you in a humble position. And that right there, that's what's attractive to the Most High. Being humble, giving him glory, submitting to his will and to his way in your life rather than your own. And you do anything to go opposite of that, it takes you in the wrong direction. I only learned that after I read that for myself, because nobody from any type of religion could break that down for me like that. No, I never heard that broken down like that before until I read it for myself. And then the key thing about reading the word is like, once you get that unlocked in your mind, you're like, man, well, what else is in here has been misinterpreted? What else in here can I unlock? Because you've been given discernment and wisdom by the Most High. So that's why it's important for you to get it for yourself, because then it becomes more personal. It doesn't just become overarching where everybody gets in. Haven't you heard the scripture that says the way to destruction is long and broad and big and wide? So if it's an everybody thing, chances are it ain't the right direction. It ain't the right thing. You need to search a little bit deeper. Dig a little bit deeper, man. That's what you should do.
Agreed. It was 2 Thessalonians 2. It said, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Master, Yahweh Shai, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of the Mashiach is at hand. That no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim or that is worshipped, so that he, as Elohim, sitteth in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. There's only one human being that can fit that description.
Just one.
Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause Elohim shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to Elohim for you, brethren, beloved of Hamashiach, beloved of Yahweh, because Elohim hath from beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. Everybody wasn't going to get this.
That's so clear.
Everybody's not going to see the necessity for the truth. Sometimes what's known and the tradition is good enough. It's acceptable enough for some people. But certain individuals are designed to want to know it all. Everything that was set aside for us to know, not what's been chosen to be given to us by people who don't even like us for real, or our Elohim. They're in opposition of him. You know what I'm saying? But all praise to the Most High. He picked us, to point out stuff like this. Just like he picked out people in the past. You know what I'm saying? The prophets wasn't popular.
No, they wasn't. Not at all. They killed him and persecuted him, matter of fact. And that's why he gave that whole parable. He was like, what you think the master of the vineyard going to do when he come back? He said, you done killed my servants and my messengers, and then I send you my son and you kill him. What you think he going to do? But, it's interesting that you said what you just said in regards to, people just not getting it. And it seems like the majority of Yasharal still is in that position. That's what has me eagerly anticipating from within myself what exactly the Most High is going to do to reveal himself to his people. And I'm, for those who was already revealed to the elected, we ain't got to worry about that. We're going to be looking for that with bated breath. Like, oh yeah, here we go. Like, we excited for it. But for the mass majority of Yasharal, which he chose, which he loves, which he knows is deluded, what is he going to do to break that spell? What's he going to do to remove his own delusion from their eyes when he presents himself so that the world sees, oh yeah, this is the one who was written about from the beginning that you all have denied and said it ain't. It's kind of like the word tells me, and I got to be careful. This word says, do not anticipate or yearn for the day of Yahuwah. That means don't even want it to come. And that verse says to me, it's like, you don't even know how terrible it's going to be. You don't even know how wild it's going to be. Like you ain't got no idea. But please rest assured that whenever he chooses to manifest his power in himself so that people understand and realize who he is, it's going to be nothing to play with. It's going to be very, very serious. And honestly, I think it's necessary because as long as we keep marching in the direction that we're going, all we do is see corruption flourishing. There's so many laws and so many things passed that are acceptable right now. We are truly in the position where now evil is called good and good is called evil. And it's accepted and written in the law that good is bad and bad is good. So I'm like, how are we going to flip this? Not we, but how is he actually? Because we can't flip it. We can't turn it around. That's why we continue to give you this warning week in and week out. This is a born testimony. These words have already been written in the Sefer of life for us that is being recorded right now by the angels who watch over us day and night, according to the word. It's already been written on the heavenly tables. And though I don't know the methods or ways of the Most High or his mind to accept what he shows me, I still am eager to see what he's going to do because it's going to blow everybody's mind, especially mine. It's going to blow our minds what he's going to do. He's mighty to save, but he's also a mighty, what do they say? Yah is a mighty God of war or something like that. It didn't say that for no reason, man. It didn't say that for no reason.
He knows how to wipe people out.
He doggone sure knows. And he knows how to do it to let you know he's the one doing it.
He's the one doing it.
Like, yo.
He put it in our ancestors to be warriors.
He did.
He told them that they were going to have to destroy their enemies. Because he knew. And look, these people were their enemies. They weren't even their enemies. He just knew if you mingle with them, they're going to draw you away from me.
Right.
So they're your enemy. Because I'm telling you they're your enemy. Oh, man, them people look cool. They look all right. Look how they dress. You know what I'm saying? The women look good. They're your enemies. Because they don't know me.
They don't know me.
So they're my enemies, you my people, they're your enemies. All right, go kill them all. Don't spare none of them. They didn't listen. Oh, God wouldn't do something. Your God probably wouldn't. Yahweh would. The Elohim of the patriarchs would. That's how you get down. That's how you get down.
That'd be such a dangerous statement. People like, I think God's like, what God? I always want to ask, like, which God you talking about?
The God of the Bible, which portion of it? Because what you're seeing through God the Son in the New Testament, you think he a pushover, you think he's soft, you think he this fruit butt, you know what I'm saying, with the long hair and the limp wrist. Come on, man. But Yahweh Shai, just by his name, is that you get a completely different picture in your head. You see a warrior. You don't see somebody that's bent. You know, I mean, it's funny, but when you look at where it comes from, it makes sense. If you just look at where it comes from. Most people don't, I don't want to see that. They're scared they're going to turn into a pillar of salt. Man, you turn in the wrong direction. You ain't got to turn around. You're not supposed to look back necessarily. You dig as you go forward. You want to know what happened. The information is there in front of you. You don't necessarily have to look behind you. The future, all this technology we got, man, you can sit at home and travel to other countries, distant lands, just at the tip of your fingers on a computer. Get a virtual tour of anywhere in the world, probably. And the information that they have there as well is at your disposal. And maybe you got to spend that $50,000 on that book to be told the truth. America being an accurate description of the new world. It's out there. They documented everything. Everything. It was all, even Eve, that's one of the first things, well, I ain't gonna say the first thing she taught her kids, but she taught her children how to properly document stuff in the event that the earth was destroyed because she knew it was coming. What she say? If you write it in clay, if it was fired or hardened or something like that. And well, she gave them two ways to document, you know what I'm saying, to write down accounts of whatever took place. So the ability to do it, the knowledge is there. All of it's been written down somewhere. We got access to it. This is just the most recent, you know what I'm saying, but it goes deeper than that. I'm appreciative of this. I don't think I'm not. But it goes deeper, you know?
Always.
And we should want to go deeper. Deeper. Wasn't that a song about going deeper? Deeper. There's a lot of songs we used to sing. Yeah. Yeah, one of them Friday night or Saturday night, yeah. So what they call them, what we used to call, I don't even remember what it was called. Vespers, yeah, Vespers. I wonder what the definition of Vesper is, for real. But that breakdown that lady gave of words and like the week and the weekend and morning and saying hello and just how we cast spells.
Speak over people.
And don't even realize it.
No, we don't.
You start your day with a spell.
Perpetual.
Hello.
Hell.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning is bad.
Everything was associated with death.
Yeah.
Or like a funeral or you know what I'm saying? I'm like, good gracious.
Something negative.
I'm gonna go watch the rest of it, you know what I'm saying? But it's like it was all associated with something negative. Like awake.
Awake.
The most killings take place between hours, you say 6 and 9 in the morning, most deaths or something like that, between 6 and 9 in the morning. What do they call the viewing of a body? They call it awake.
Awake, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we do when we get up, we awake. It may not be necessary to some of you good people, but someone whose mind has been unlocked and a vision has been cleared, you see things now. The blinders are gone. There's no more delusion. It's not a easy thing. It's not a good feeling all the time. Hey, truth hurts. So, I mean, I anticipate it. Oh, man. Most High Yahweh, thank you for this opportunity to get a little more understanding. Thank you for what you're doing with us. Be with myself and Brad's families, be with the studio and all of its components, y'all. You know the individual struggles that the members of my family are going through. Again, thank you for allowing my nephew to see 13. But I ask that you specifically touch Jennifer's body, you know, be with Ruth's household and what's going on with Jamal and his father. Your people need you. Forgive us for not being as thorough and as responsibility that you've given us. I see that more is required. Allow myself to mentally slip. For that, I ask you to forgive me. Yeah, but you know, coming in here and being able to communicate, going to your scriptures and rap with my brother and with the people, that's like a workout for me. That's where I get my rec. The weeks is rough dealing with the people who I'm around. And I'm making excuses, y'all, but you know my situation is. And I'm asking that you go before me into this week, go before us into this week, clear out the path that we gotta walk, whatever traps or roadblocks or setup the enemy got placed. I'm asking in the name of Yahweh Shah that you remove them. or bind him so that he's not successful with those attempts. I know they're coming. Weather's changing. Enemy's getting upset. He's mad. He wants to kill us. And I'm thanking you for sparing us up to this point, and I ask that you continue to spare us, y'all. Forgive us for all our iniquities. Touch those who need your hand of healing. Financially bless those who need that financial blessing. Some people's minds have left them, y'all. I watch the madness taking place on a daily basis. You're the only hope we got. So whatever it is you're going to do, I appreciate everything you do for me. Even though I find myself run down, but I know you got me. And I just pray and ask that you help others to believe the same way that you got them as well. Wake up those who you have determined are to be awakened in these last days, and ensure them and comfort them that the journey is not going to be easy. The road is not going to be smooth, but you need them to wake up so that they can wake up those of their own household, or those that others that are asleep that you need to be awakened. Everybody don't have the same type of alarm clock. We got to allow ourselves to be used. Use us as you created us to be used. This is my prayer in Yahweh's name. Amen.
Amen. It's been Real Talk 101, Devil Exposed on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. Till the next time we meet, may Yah bless and keep you.
Seek truth, not the traditions of men.
Shamanic flow. Minister BT on the track. Back at it. Cause when that spirit moves, gotta react. Yo. Hey, to my people, I address thee under the unction of the Holy One, the Elohim of all that is, who goes by Elion. Yahuwah surveyeth, under he do I prayeth, to do as he saith. I be about that word, you feel me? All praises. I continue to exhort my brethren that they receiving blessings from learning plenty lessons. Be off the herbal essence from all of life's oppression, battling thoughts of dark depression, false confessions, feeling suppression, courts in session. Ask the question, how long will my life continue to be this way? I cried real tears when my mama sang a better day. Just hold on is what my pastor used to say. But if that's all that it takes, then why my people continue to go astray? The church is barely breathing, like when we see policing. Violence on blacks increasing, seems like we all deceasing. Perversity is pleasing, greediness got us all obese. And the LGBTQRSTXY, man, you see what I'm saying? When you've done all you can, but your faith is low. When you tried everything, but got nowhere to go. Just hold your head up, cause we in the final hour. Like Elijah on the mount, go down to power. When you fed up with the demons and the games they play, when you're losing your cool and need to make a way, look at the devil in the face and make a cower. Like Moses at the sea, go down to power.
You see, power is a dangerous thing unless it is handled carefully. It would be foolish on God's part to give just anybody power. You've got to qualify for it. And the worse life you've lived in the past, the more dramatic the demonstration. But when God changes a real bad one, that one becomes the greatest witness of all.
Yo. I'm pot committed like Vegas. You know your pastor can't say this. True man of Yah ain't no faking. He'll spew you out like you bacon. My people dropping like flies cause of that lack of true knowledge. Yah wisdom open my eyes, clear my ears of the block. My mustard seed like a mountain. He got my praise like a fountain. When that Ruach get to moving, like DC Go-Go I'm grooving. To get where I'm at took years, through all the pain and the tears. But they got lost in my beard, just like I got lost in my fear. I don't be rocking with pride, try to stay off the humble. But sometimes I don't listen, like when these new rappers mumble. I get sparked and the demons get to shaking, like the earth when it's quaking. Cause I be praying, fasting, meditating. Y'all got you open, so listen. We breaking you out the prison of the lies that were disguised as religious proposition. My mind is sharp like a sword, the strongest pawn on the board. The name of Yah, not the Lord. Now do we have an accord? And when you feeling stressed, feel the weight of the pressure. When the enemy floods you with BS, in the den, call down the power. When you look at the world and all you see is the trouble, and this illusion of peace about to bust like a bubble. Just remember that the devil gon' be sour. Look in the mirror and repeat, we got the power.
The power of God attends the truth. The power of God does not attend error.